So as a guy who's trained with a lot of professional wrestlers, future professional wrestlers and things like that, as a guy who's been basically part of quite a few martial arts tournaments also and have trained in martial arts, I can honestly say wrestlers are some of the craziest people I feel like I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. To those of you all who have been following me for quite some time will know that I'm a huge fan of pro wrestling, and I'm actually trying to get this whole YouTube thing started and up off the ground so I can focus on pro wrestling as well, becoming a pro wrestler. And it is because of that content and things of that nature that I'm actually doing this episode. One of the many things that come with being both an anime fan and a pro wrestling fan / pro wrestler in training, I guess you could say, even though I am taking a break, shout out to ROW, is having episodes of anime like this that feature pro wrestling and pro wrestlers. Oi, it's your boy, DaCozmicSquid, and today we're going to be reviewing the third episode of Kengan Ashura on Netflix, called Tough Guy. Now the episode starts with the announcer basically talking about how the Kengan tournaments, the Kengan fights, are held out of the public eye. These are tournaments that are completely and totally underground. These are fights that are completely and totally underground between major companies for things like building rights and things of that nature, as I've covered. It's kind of like if Wingstop and Buffalo Wild Wings had representative fighters to fight in an underground competition in order to get the rights to open up a new shop at a specific strip mall or location. It is at this point we're introduced to our two fighters who are going to be participating in this match. Of course, the main fighter in this story, Oma Tokita, representing the Nogi group at this time, and of course Jun Sekabayashi, a super pro wrestler from Japan who utilizes pro wrestling style in order to, well, fight. You don't really get a feel for how large these two competitors are until they are facing off against each other. Now, Oma Tokita is billed at about 6 feet tall, which means Jun Sekabayashi has to be 6'5" to 6'7", because this guy makes Oma look small, and Oma, by both American and Japanese standards, looks like a tank. Now, of course, this is at the point in time when you don't really see a lot of, you know, Kengan fighters. The only real Kengan fighter we have to go off of is Kamada the Guardian, who was the representative for the Nogi group before he was defeated by Oma Tokita, and of course Rihito, who was the representative of Yokitake of Yoshitake Real Estate. Now, it's at this point that Jun Sekabayashi starts cutting a promo on his opponent. Now, for those of you who aren't in the know when it comes to pro wrestling, cutting a promo on your opponent is basically, you know, a hype up. You're hyping yourself up for the match, basically talking about how good you are in comparison to not only your opponent, but anybody else in the wrestling industry. And in true wrestler fashion, Jun Sekabayashi makes it a point to let Oma Tokita know that he is the first real warrior that he's faced in these Kengan Ashura tournaments. Now, keep in mind, once again, you have Kamada the Guardian, which was this giant of a man with a back tattoo. You have even Ivan Karayev, who was basically a world championship kickboxer before he decided to go into the underground tournaments. And of course, Rihito, basically the superhuman who uses his nails to scratch and slice up his opponent as well. So considering the fact that these people are below Jun Sekabayashi, really goes to show that Oma Tokita has his work cut out for him in this match. Now, of course, kind of right in the middle of this promo, Oma Tokita launches into an attack. He starts basically throwing wild kicks and punches and stuff like that, basically cutting off any sort of way for a counterattack. Let's not get it twisted. Jun Sekabayashi is doing this on purpose, primarily because pro wrestlers don't guard, at least in the universe of Kengan Ashura. This being the world of Kengan Ashura, people have a lot higher durability and things of that nature. So they can do things like basically block punches with their faces while simultaneously not taking much damage. Now, this is one of those rare anime that actually shows the long-term damage of the fight, which is a huge reason as to why I became such a huge fan of this anime. Now, right in the middle of the match, Jun Sekibayashi starts cutting another promo, talking about how while other fighters have the ability to defend themselves or run or anything of that nature, wrestlers only have duties, whether it be a bludgeon, a bomb, a knife, anything like that. Wrestlers just have to sit there and take it. And I can kind of see where he's coming from, being as that body hardening is a pivotal part of being a pro wrestler. Oma at this point, after the whole promo and things like that, talking about how they can only run, walks up to Jun Sekibayashi with just this smug look on his face and gives him a little twist to the bicep. Now, that looked suggestive, but it was his bicep that he twisted. At this point in time, Jun Sekibayashi moves his hand away saying, "What are you doing?" Blah, 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 blah. And Oma, with this big smirk on his face, starts talking about how he just ran from pain. And of course, this completely and totally makes Jun Sekibayashi lose it. He starts to try to grab Oma by the shoulder, and Oma starts doing this thing where he starts moving his shoulder around while simultaneously sidestepping Jun Sekibayashi while he's trying to reach and grab for him and chop him and things of that nature. He is able to move out of the way and then deliver a solid kick to the face, then launching into another stream of attacks. Jun Sekibayashi, once again being the psychopath that he is, does not block any of these attacks, including a very solid roundhouse kick to the face. He in fact uses that roundhouse kick to the face in order to set up for a T-bone setup into a scoop slam. Now, once again, let's keep in mind, this match is taking place in a garage. That means there's no padding, no wood or anything like that. It's just solid concrete. And he slams him so hard that it cracks the concrete. Wrestling in the fantasy world is so much cooler than wrestling in the real world because you don't have any of those pesky real world ramifications like a destroyed spinal column. After this, he starts molly-whopping Oma Tokita, hitting him with lariats, punches, kicks, slams. He threw a couple of suplexes in there that made it look absolutely nasty. I mean, I could feel the CTE from here. Now, in the middle of all this, in the middle of this unholy hind whooping, there's a man with these swollen cheeks. And I know that sounds weird, but just take a look at this guy, all right? He looks like he got stung by a wasp on both cheeks. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, this guy starts talking noise to Oma because he's getting beaten so badly, saying that he needs to tap out and things like that. Now, Kazuo takes offense to this, being that he's, you know, Oma's friend. And he starts grabbing the guy by the collar, talking noise back to him, saying that Oma's not gonna lose. Now, this is while Oma is taking this absolutely nasty leg drop onto the concrete floor. Now, I don't even understand how Jun didn't hurt himself doing a leg drop on the concrete, but I digress. Now, after all this, Jun sets Oma up with a absolutely nasty looking Argentine backbreaker. Now, for those of you all who are pro wrestling fans of the United States, this would be the equivalent to Lex Luger's torture rack, made famous back in like the early days of WWE. This was absolutely brutal looking. So brutal, in fact, that it temporarily causes Oma to black out, causing him to go into this alternate mindscape, mind palace looking thing, where he's in a cave surrounded by candles and stuff like that. He starts saying things like, how long has it been since I've been here? How long has it been since I've had to use this technique? And all that. So, of course, you all know that a power-up is coming. And power up he did, going absolutely psycho mode, breaking out of the Argentine backbreaker whilst simultaneously breaking about 3 or 4 of Jun Sekibayashi's fingers. It looked absolutely brutal. And Jun Sekibayashi looked surprised, and us normal people would go, holy crap, my fingers are broken. This madman keeps going with his broken fingers. Oma is throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, at this guy at this point because of this power-up. Now, this power-up increases his rotational strength and speed, basically supercharging his punches. Like right in the middle of this match, you start seeing these two guys who obviously don't look like background characters. Both of them are swollen up to the gills. One of them looking like he's a complete and total roid head, while this other guy kind of looks like a chick with extremely buff features. The older looking of the two, who's known as Takeshi Wakatsuki, starts explaining the reasoning behind why Oma's punches are starting to become so effective, saying that the mass of the fighter, Oma, has stayed the same, which means that he has to increase both his speed and rotational strength in order to get off more effective punches. Of course, anime logic, this explains why Oma is so powerful right now. Now, another explanation is because of the form that he's taking. You may notice that he has a bunch of veins on his cheeks and face and things like that. He has a sinister grin on his face. He's transformed. Now, unlike other anime, this isn't just the one-in-one ace in the hole, to where, you know, the main character just starts to completely and totally destroy their opponent. Jun Sekibayashi loves a difficult match, and because he loves a difficult match, that pretty much grants him even more power as well, taking all these absolutely brutal punches and kicks. Jun starts this whole internal monologue talking about how this is the best, how this is bringing out the best in him, and it's making the crowd more hyped. And as we know, pro wrestlers love a hyped up crowd because it gives them a little bit of power. I mean, you can see examples with, you know, Sami Zayn and other pro wrestlers who are getting beaten down up until they have the crowd behind him. Now, of course, he's still, you know, putting in the work against Jun Sekibayashi, but he's starting to press forward, taking these punches and kicks, and still attempting to grab and slam him, chops, and of course he delivers this brutal kick to the sternum, throwing him into a car and all this other crazy stuff. He then also gives like this wicked like drop kick to Omatokita, fracturing his rib cage and all that. Now, this of course is a setup for the final clash between these two. That final clash ending with Oma hitting Jun Sekibayashi in the windpipe, making him pass out from the lack of air. The match is over. So you have these reactions saying, holy crap, you know, Jun lost. And because of his loss, you know, you really see how much respect a lot of other people have for Jun Sekibayashi because of how surprised they are that he lost to somebody so small in comparison. Now, after this fight, a man makes his presence known, a man by the name of Metsudo Katahara. He is the president of Dainippon Bank, one of the biggest banks in Japan. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that he is also the chairman of the Kengan Association. Basically, he's the president of this entire organization that organizes these underground fights. And there's a lot of things that have to happen in order for you to get this particular position. And Oma winning this match activates this series of events that have been going on in the background, basically getting 50 signatures from 50 members of the Kengan Association in order to begin the Kengan Annihilation Tournament. Now, before we get all into that, I need to explain to you how much aura this old man has. Everybody stands up straight. Everybody is looking directly at him. Now, keep in mind, he's flanked by two absolute monsters of men, two absolutely jacked dudes in business suits, one with a pretty boy haircut and the other one with a mask, and nobody asks anything about them at all. Even the people who have never seen him before, because he has such presence, all eyes are on Metsudo Katahara. And Kengan, come on, man, what are you guys doing with this camera angle? Like, I get that you're trying to show how much presence this old man has, but you didn't have to You didn't have to do all this. But, you know, let's not get distracted by, you know, the skirt and the thighs and the sweat and all that other pervy stuff. Look at President Nogi's hands. Notice how both of his hands are in a straight up, you know, straight to his sides. They're straight to his sides, showing all this respect that even President Nogi, the chairman of the Nogi group, has for President Katahara. So once again, we're going back to the story here. He starts to announce the beginning of the Kengan Annihilation tournament, saying that basically this is the tournament that's going to decide the new chairman of the Kengan Association. It also goes to show you just how brutal this match is going to be, because he doesn't care if you're a martial artist, a killer, or a psycho. He doesn't care as long as you can fight. And it doesn't matter what your qualifications are, as long as you're a member of the Kengan Association and have either been invited or however you get to the tournament. These people with no rules or anything like that are going to be participating in this tournament, so you had better bring your best. Of course, at this point you find out that, you know, Takeshi and Cosmo Imai are also competitors as well. You know, Cosmo talking about how he can hopefully get his boss to get him to participate in the tournament as well. And it goes to show you the sheer scope and difference in the fighters that are going to be participating in this tournament. Now, our boy Oma has a bit of a different reason as to why he's excited about these tournaments. With these tournaments drawing in so many talented fighters, he's absolutely sure that this person in his past is going to be participating in these tournaments as well. Our boy Oma is looking for revenge, and you get a visual of what this person looks like, and hopefully we get more in terms of what's going on with the Kengan Annihilation tournament and what role this person played in Oma's life. But with the announcement of the Kengan Ashura tournament, that also ends the episode. And that's it. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys made it this far into the video. You know, I'm gonna start trying to record a lot more content, being as that I now have about 60 subscribers. Whenever I get into a better spot, I'm gonna start doing lives and stuff like that. But for right now, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the video, and hit that notification bell. It'll keep you updated as to when I post my shorts about pro wrestling, my shorts about anime, and videos like this. Now, you may have noticed that I have started putting my Cash App up on my videos. What I'm trying to do is basically become a full-time content creator, and that way it'll give me more than enough time to pump out not only more content, but continue on to my dream of becoming a pro wrestler. So type in the name of your favorite pro wrestlers as well to let me know that you've made it this far into the video. And until next time, I've been the Cosmic Squid, you've been awesome, and we will see you soon.